Hey everybody, it is what is it? The week after Thanksgiving. So we have a full week ahead of us. We have a lot of work to do. Reading the chapters and getting this book. We're on schedule, kind of, to finish the book next week, and then finish up with a couple of big projects that you'll have extra time to get done. So we're doing lesson 12 today, which is chapter 8 in the novel, and there's only 4 more chapters, so we go up to chapter 12. So what I want you to do for focus for reading, you can see, and the reason that I'm doing the video, guys, is if you look, it looks like there's a lot of stuff here. And there's not really much to do. I mean, there is a fair amount to do, but you need to understand a few things before we do this. So we're going to do a couple of things that we've done in the past in the classroom. If you were with me for 7th grade or 6th grade, we've done these before. So we're going to do something together in a second. We're going to talk about something called infinitives, which is grammar. And there is a little 1-minute video to help explain what infinitives are. And then I have a other page that explains infinitives as well. So and then there's a worksheet to do infinitives. So it looks like there's a lot, but really this is a video. This is a quick explanation that I'm going to go over with you. And this is the actual assignment, which is pretty straightforward and easy. So those 3 things are all for one thing. Word study. You guys understand word study. We've been doing word study for most of the novel. And then focus question. So the focus question, guys, is I put a lot of emphasis on the focus questions because this shows me how you think, okay? And as an 8th grader, you are training to become a high schooler. So you're in training right now, and you have to look at it that way. So you're getting ready for high school. So focus question 6, let me just show you what the question is and show you what preparation we need to do first, which is what we're going to do right now in this video. So it says here, what role does the gang play in the greasers' lives? Okay, now that seems like a straightforward question, but it says for each of the members explain their individual need for the gang. Okay, now it says to cite examples from the novel. So you need to come up with specific examples from the novel on each of the members to explain why they need to be part of the greasers or part of the gang. Okay, now here's the second part. It says also use the article to clarify your answer. So you're probably saying, what article? Which is what we're about to go over right now. Okay, so you can't answer this until you have done the article. All right, so if you look back on the page, there's an article down here, and it's called The Anthropology of Belonging. So I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to zoom in on it. So anthropology, if you're not sure what anthropology is, I'll actually give you the definition of anthropology. Oh, it doesn't have it on here. So anthropology is the study of human behavior, okay, basically. And so they're studying how humans behave, and what is the anthropology of belonging is what is everybody's needs as far as who, like, they need to be part of a group. Everybody needs to feel like they belong to something, and that has a lot to do with what's going on in our novel, especially with the socias and the greasers. So this is all about social inclusion and social exclusion. So social inclusion is when you're with your group of friends and a new person comes along and you get to know that person and you welcome them into your group. That's what the inclusion means. Social exclusion is the opposite. So if there's somebody in your group that is not kind of playing by the rules and they're not, following the social norms of your group, they're being, mean and nasty and nobody wants them around anymore, and you kind of like say, hey, you can't hang out with us anymore. That's what we call social exclusion right here, okay? So here's your job. Your job is to read this article. It's just 4 paragraphs. It's not really that long. And I have some questions for you. So we're going to do guided highlighted reading, just like we would do in the classroom. So what I'd like you to do is after you're done reading the article, you can pause this video, make it go backwards, forwards, whatever you want. And I have some questions. I have about 2 to 3 questions for each paragraph. And I'll ask the question twice, and if you need to rewind the video to hear it again, then feel free to do that. And what I need you to do is to highlight the answer. Now remember, when we do guided highlighted reading, the answer could be one word, a phrase, or an entire sentence. Chances are it's not going to be the whole paragraph. So if you highlight the whole paragraph, then you obviously aren't doing what we want. So to highlight, so for example, let's say I asked you a question, and let's just pretend that the answer happened to be, let's say the question was, who are social creatures, or what are social creatures? And then down here you see, oh, human beings are deeply social creatures. Let's just pretend that's the first answer. So you highlight it like I just did, and then you go up here to the highlighter, press the highlight color. I usually use yellow because it's easier to stand out. And that's all you do. So that would be your answer to the question, if that was the first question. Okay, so when I go through this, might be maybe a good idea to highlight in a different color in each paragraph. It's totally up to you. But the grade that you get on this one is based on, did you highlight the answer? Okay, so here we go. I'm going to ask you, the first two questions are based on paragraph number 1. So you're going to have to listen to this video and have your Google Doc open at the same time. So you might want to split your screen in order to do that. Or if you have your phone, you can listen to me talking on your phone if you have Google Classroom opened up on your phone. Okay, paragraph 1, first question. Who has been inspired by exclusion? So who has been inspired by exclusion? So you need to highlight that answer. If you need to pause, press the pause button. I'm going on to question number 2. Why did our ancestors desire to be included in small groups? Why did our ancestors desire to be included in small groups? So you can pause the audio right now if you need to. Okay, moving on to paragraph number 2. 3 questions. First question. What did it mean to our ancestors to be rejected by their group? Once again, what did it mean to our ancestors to be rejected by their group? Okay, question 2. Remember, you can always pause and go back. Who do we desire to be in our group? Once again, who do we desire to be in our group? Question number 3. Paragraph 2. How does social connection affect our lives? How does social connection affect our lives? Okay, so highlight your answers for those questions. If you need to pause it or rewind it, please do so. Moving on to paragraph number 3, 3 questions. First one, in what ways does being an outcast affect our health? Once again, in what ways does being an outcast affect our health? Highlight the answer. Second question, paragraph 3. How might social rejection affect someone's behavior? Once again, how might social rejection affect someone's behavior? Question number 3, paragraph 3. What desire is universal? What desire is universal? Okay, paragraph 4. 2 questions. First question. What are the 2 things we want to know about someone we meet? Once again, what are the 2 things we want to know about someone we meet? And the last question. What fears are universally shared by all? Once again, what fears are universally shared by all? Okay, so that is our guided highlighted reading. If you need to rewind to re-listen to the questions I asked you for each paragraph, please do so. Okay, so that is that assignment. Now you need to really understand this article in order to do the, that's not for our class, in order to answer this question up here. All right, so what role does the gang play in the Greasers' lives? For each of the members, explain their individual need for the gang. Cite examples from the novel and the article that you just read to back up your answer. This I'm looking for 3 paragraphs. Restate the question. Explain how the gang plays a role for each member, citing examples from the novel. That is your answer plan tip. Your third one, explain why each member feels the need to belong. citing examples from the article, and then conclude with a summary statement. So you have an introduction, and then your first paragraph would be this, probably 7 to 10 sentences. Your second paragraph would be this, and your conclusion would be your third paragraph. Okay? So that's that part of the assignment. Okay, now infinitives. You're going to watch the video on infinitives, and I'm going to go over this page with infinitives. So an infinitive, this page looks kind of complicated, and there's a lot here, but I'm going to kind of get you through it. We're going to kind of skip over some of it because we don't need to know all of it. So an infinitive is something that you recognize when you are reading, and we see examples here: to sneeze, to smash, to cry, to shriek, to jump, to dunk, to read, to eat, to slurp. All of these are infinitives. So an infinitive will almost always begin with the word to, followed by the simple form of the verb. Okay, so like this. So we have to plus a verb equals an infinitive. So, but an important note here is an infinitive is not a verb. So even though you're using a verb in the infinitive, it becomes a different part of speech, and you can't add an s, es, ed, or ing to the end ever. Okay, so here's an example. If we used the words to sleep is the only thing Eli wants after his double shift waiting tables at the neighborhood cafe. So to sleep functions as a noun here because it's the subject of the sentence. So is the verb, and the rest of it is the predicate, okay, of the sentence. So to sleep, even though sleep is an action word, when you put to in front of it, it becomes a noun. All right, so that's an infinitive. No matter how fascinating the biology dissection is, Emmanuel turns his head and refuses to look. So he refuses to what? It becomes an object for the verb. So to look functions as a noun here, and it is a direct object for the verb refuses. So he refuses to what? To look. So it becomes a noun. Wherever Melissa goes, she always brings a book to read in case conversation lags or she has a long wait. So to read functions as an adjective here because it modifies the word book. Okay? Richard braved the icy rain to throw the smelly squid eyeball stew into the apartment dumpster. Oh, that's a weird sentence. So to throw functions as an adverb here because it tells you why he did what he did. Okay, so it explains why Richard braved the inclement weather. All right. Now, this part down here, recognizing an infinitive when it's missing the to, and then down here with a split infinitive, I'm not worried about that right now. So I just want you to make sure that you understand this top part that I went over. Okay, so now after you've watched the 1-minute video and you've listened to this and read this, what do you need to do? Well, what I need you to do as you're reading chapter 8, and I've already given you a couple of examples here. It says, after watching Mr. Slack's tutorial video, that's what you're watching right now, and reviewing the infinitive study guide, which we just did, make a list of infinitives that you find in the chapter and be sure to put the page number where you found it. So that's it. Like, I did 2 of them right here for you. So to run on page 102 and to think on page 102. So as you're reading, all I need you to do is come up with 5 to 10 more examples of an infinitive. Okay? What else do we have here? That about wraps up this assignment. So good luck. Take your time. Please, guys, read the chapter. It doesn't do you any good to not read the chapter. You're not helping anybody. You're just hurting your own chances. So good luck, and I will see you guys at the next Zoom.